You want to cancel your service, Karen? Okay, you get no internet for next 2+ years. This was couple years ago, so the quotes are rephrased, not verbatim. Background: I worked for an internet service provider in Australia called iNet. We were at the time one of the biggest providers, but crucially we did not own our ADSL1 network and we only on-sold the ADSL1 service from the biggest provider in the country, Telstra. We also had a policy that an ongoing issue should have a case owner, and I was the case owner for the switches. Why I got multiple calls about it. Act 1. A wild Karen appears. I get a call from a Karen. While doing an ID check she provides me her age, and of course she's in her 40s. Her internet went down. I look at the account and I can see she's got unsold Telstra service. One thing catches my eye. Although there are thousands of exchanges, central place your connection goes to, shared by multiple suburbs in the country, and you can't possibly know them all. I know the one she is on because few weeks earlier a friend was considering buying a house in the area and I looked at this one and found that there are no free ports, and thus it is impossible to get a new service connected. The waiting list for a new connection was 2.5 years, at least. So I ask her to do the troubleshooting steps and she says she does, but I suspect she's just telling me she is doing it to make me go away. Whatever, nothing I can do about that. We exhaust all the troubleshooting and I tell her there appears to be a line fault. I can send out a technician, but it will take 3 to 5 working days, and if there is actually nothing wrong with the line she will be charged $199 plus $40. Numbers might be wrong, it was a while back, but it was at least $200 for every 15 minutes of work to cover technician's time. I play her the disclaimer that outlines this, and she says yeah, I accept on the recording. I lodge a fault. Act 2. The fault. In our loop, she calls after 2 days, sounding annoyed things are still offline. I tell her it hasn't been 5 days. She hangs up. On the 5th day I get the technician's report saying no fault found. Next day she calls. Karen, so, my connection is still offline. It has been 5 days. What's happening? Me. Well, the technician attended the fault and his report says no fault found. Karen, what? That's nonsense. The internet is clearly down, and you need to fix it. Me. I don't doubt that the internet is offline, but the fault does not appear to lie within our area of responsibility. I would suggest you check your local equipment. Karen. That's not true. My son is in it, guy, and the router is brand new. Me. Okay, well, I can't speak for the state of your equipment, but our equipment appears to be in working order. Incidentally, I just want to make sure to give you heads up that we will be placing an incorrect callout fee on your next invoice. Karen, you're lying to me. I didn't see no technicians and now you want to charge me over $200 based on your lies. I won't let that happen. Me. I assure you, the technician attended the reported fault. However, you did not see them because they probably only went to the exchange, which is approximate 4 kilometers away from you. Karen. You're lying to me. I'm not paying the fee. What can I do now? Me. Well, if you are adamant that your equipment is not at fault, your only option is to file another fault and send the tech out again. It is fairly rare, but it is not impossible the technician was wrong. Karen. And then you'll pretend you send the tech and charge me another incorrect callout fee. Me. We will most definitely send out another tech, but yes, it is very likely to come back as another NFF, and in that case a further fee is likely. Karen. That's bullshit. I have been with you for 5+ years and this is how you treat me. Cancel my service now. I will go to your competitors. They'll want my money. Me. Ma'am, the exchange you're connected to only has Telstra ports and is at 100% utilization. If I cancel your service you will lose your spot. It is unlikely any of our competitors will be able to provide you any service at all. You should just transfer your service to the next provider, so-called churn. This will allow her to keep her spot. Karen. Don't you tell me what to do, you lying sack of shit. You will cancel my service now, or I will do everything in my power to have you fired. Now I'm pissed off myself. Now, it's a crap situation, but there's no need to take it out on me. I'm trying to help her and that's her response. Engage malicious compliance. Me. Okay, ma'am. Hold on for a moment. I'm canceling you service. Me. Okay, cancellation processed. Let me just remind you that the incorrect callout fee is still due. Karen, you won't see a cent of that. Me, noted, but the amount is over collections threshold, so we will send you to collections. Karen. Act 3, the joys of the waiting list. About a month later I get a request to transfer to me. It's Karen. I take a moment to catch up on her file and the service is cancelled and fee invoiced. I run a quick service qualification on her line and I can see that our service, so-called codes have dropped off and there are no other codes on her line. She did not manage to get connected with anyone. Karen. Hello. I think I spoke to you last time. Me. Yes you did. Karen. My internet is still down, and you are still charging me for the fee. I need you to get rid of it. Me. I cannot do that. The charge is valid. Karen. Well, I can't pay it. You've ruined my business. I was operating an e-commerce business and that won't be possible anytime soon. Running a business over residential connection is a breach of customer service agreement, but I'll let that slide. Me. I'm sorry for your predicament, but the fee stands. Karen. I'll do you a deal. If you reconnect my service I will pay the fee. Me. I can probably sign you up again, even though you're behind on payment, but I was not lying to you when I told you that there are no ports on your exchange. It is very unlikely you would get a port. They are all in use. Did you try with our competitors as you said you would? Karen. I did. None of them would even try signing me up because they told me they couldn't provide a service. Me. We are in the same situation. Karen. Why can't you just give me back my old port? Me. Because it was given to the first person on the waiting list. Karen. And how long does the waiting list take? Me. Last I checked, more than 2 years. Karen. This is ridiculous. I'm going to TIO, Telecommunications Industry Ombudsman. Me. You may do so, as is your right, but to be very clear, we will substantiate the validity of our fee. Karen. Whatever. 50. Conclusion. She did in fact file a complaint with TIO and I handed her case over to a TIO complaint specialist. I made sure to point out that she was breaching TOS with business over residential service. TIO obviously ruled in our favor and we were allowed to send her to actual collections. Before I left the company, about a year and a half later, I caught up on her file, and she had filed a loss of business claim, which was summarily closed, because residential connections have no service level agreement. Last contact was her speaking to our credit team asking them to make sure they mark her debt as paid with our collections people, and make sure this is reflected on her credit rating. There were still no codes on her line. It is quite unlikely she got any reasonably priced service connected for at least 2 years, realistically longer as demand only ever went up. Karen and her email problems. This story was originally meant for r/Talis from tech support, but due to their rules, it wasn't allowed to be posted there. It's kind of a mix between revenge and a tech support call. TLDR at bottom. A bit of background. I own a web hosting and MSP company which I've set up 2 years ago with some friends with similar interest. We have a few serious clients, but things have been sailing smoothly and quietly for some time. We are not a big company and we only spend a few hours a week doing actual work for it. So we have phone support. Even though nobody is almost ever physically at a desk, when we get a call, we only get calls maybe twice a week. We pick up, walk to a PC or grab a laptop in the meantime. Sometimes it takes a minute after picking up the phone before we can actually help. Most of our clients know this and have no problem with it at all. We usually provide quick solutions and most of the time we do support for free. The actors. Me, obviously. Karen, angry lady, client company's administrative person. She was just hired 2 weeks ago. Boss. Client boss that I've had regular contact with. The story. Me. Insert standard corporate greeting. Karen. Hi. With Karen from company, I have issues sending email. Me. I'm sorry to hear that. If you give me a second I'll walk to my desk so I can look into it. Now, it's important to note that we know most contacts from the bigger clients and are on a first name basis with most. Although we are not a big company, we provide services tailored to our clients' specific needs. As such, we have regular conversations over email discussing their services. This was the first time I spoke with Karen since she got hired recently. Karen. Why aren't you at your desk already? This is urgent, and I need this sorted ASAP. We are not paying you for your time if you're slow and unhelpful. Me. Screams internally already. Me. I'm sorry Karen. I'm just now arriving at my desk. I see you've been recently added to the mall system. Is this the first time you've tried sending an email from your Karen interrupts me. No, I've sent many emails, probably more than you. I know how to send an email, okay? Me. Possibly sounding a bit annoyed, I was going to ask, is this the first time you tried to send an email from your corporate email account? Karen. Yes, it is. Why? Me. Could you tell me what email client you're using? Karen. I'm using my company's webmail client. Me. Alright, that's good. Did you get any error message that you can tell me? Karen. Yes, I don't know what it is, and I'm not at my desk right now. Give me a minute to look it up. I don't know why she wouldn't stay at her desk after giving me crap for it earlier. Karen. Okay, so the error messages says her interpretation of the error without saying the actual error. The part where I jumped the gun and should have paid more attention. Me. It sounds like your inbox is full. Your company has a 50 GB shared mailbox limit. I can up the limit to 60 GB for the rest of the month, so you can continue to use the email system while you archive some old mails by printing physical copies or move them to your company's cloud storage. Karen. I don't want to archive my email. Me. Alternatively, boss could order extra storage for email. It isn't that big of a change in cost. It should be well within the budget. Karen. I would rather archive my email then. This is where finally my bell starts to ring, and I decide to check on the usage report, and sure enough discuss had spiked over the last 2 weeks or so for her mailbox only. So I decided to ask some questions to get better insights into what is really going on. Me. Have you been getting any spam mails recently? Karen. Yes, a lot of these non-deliverable have been popping up in my mailbox since I got hired. I was meaning to call for that too, but I've just been so busy that I just delete them. I delete about 250 of them every morning. Note, our system caps the sender's limit for email accounts to 250 a day to prevent our system from being used by spammers. You may see where this is going. Me. Oh, that's not good. And this has been going on since you were hired? Karen. Yes, it's really annoying. Please do something about it. Me. I will look into it now. Please stay on the line while I put you on hold. I dig up the SMTP log for her user account, and sure enough, every day for the past 2 weeks or so at 0 hours 250 emails are sent. Like clockwork. Most of the sent emails return as non-deliverable mail due to spam flags. Now, this is a mailbox that they use for their administration, meaning they get their invoices and appointments in there. She recently gained access rights to the mailbox, which is when things started to go wrong. Me. Hi. Karen, are you still on the line? Karen's phone plays hold music. In the meantime, I start investing further. I change her password and gather everything I can find from our system regarding Karen administration mailbox and normal user mailbox. 20 minutes pass without the holding music taking a break. It's really annoying, so I hang up and call back. Boss picks up. This is where things start to go to downhill for Karen. Boss, insert client's corporate greeting. Me. My corporate greeting. I was just at the phone with Karen. I think her mailboxes might have been compromised for the past 2 weeks. Boss. Oh, that's interesting. I'm with Karen right now. She has been in my office for the past 20 minutes telling me how you were rude to her and that you refused to help her, and that we should find a different company for our it needs. Me. I'm sorry for any inconveniences that I may have caused. However, a hacked administration mailbox is a very pressing matter. I have spent the past half hour digging through logs, and I've come to the conclusion that almost directly since Karen was hired, spam started to be sent from the inbox. I think she might have used a weak password. Boss. Alright, hold on. Boss. Returns from a 5-minute hold. Okay, so I have asked Karen about this, and she used generic dog name as her password. What does need to be done to take care of this issue? We do enforce a default password policy for all accounts on our systems. Our clients can disable this for email accounts by checking a box on the email account. Since Karen is their company's administrator, she was also tasked with creating and deleting email accounts for their colleagues. She edited her own email account to allow for insecure passwords. Her dog's name obviously didn't match the requirements, and she thought it was unfair for another company to dictate what password she could use for her corporate email account. Me. Well, I have spent the past half hour looking for information regarding this breach. It is evident that spam has been sent from corporate domain. I cannot find any evidence that the hackers accessed mail in the mailboxes. However, I cannot conclude that they didn't either. Boss. So you're saying they may have our entire administrative archive due to Karen's poor judgment calls for passwords? Me. That is basically what it boils down to. Unfortunately, there is no way to know this for sure. We don't log access to specific mails or folders. Only authentication attempts, sent mail and received mail. I have no way of knowing if they downloaded or looked at any of your mail. I would advise you to change all passwords of every account with every site and system you use, just to be sure this doesn't result in any further breaches. Boss. That will take ages. I'll task Karen and some others to start doing this directly. Me. Well, we use a corporate password manager. This might be a nice solution for your company, as well as it would allow for you and your colleagues to store passwords securely and give extensive permissions to who can see which passwords. It'll also allow you to easily keep track of all accounts that your company has, and since you don't have to memorize the passwords, you can use different and very secure passwords for everything without any issues. Boss. Yes, please will you put an order in for me? I need this for all my employees. Me. Will do. Anything else I can help you with? Boss. Yes, I need some accounts terminated, but I'll send them to you in a bit. Need to wrap things up here first. About 30 minutes later, I received a termination request for all of Karen's accounts. She apparently heard what boss said about her having to change all the company passwords and she refused. She was fired on the spot. TLDR, angry lady decides password policies are not important and uses extremely weak password on corporate accounts. Their mailbox got hacked and possibly all of their mail archives was compromised. Tried to blame it on my company and got fired for her recklessness and lies. Edit. Switched from acronyms to names. Edit 2. Wow, thanks so much for the platinum. Edit 3. Thanks so much for the golden koalas. Update. I just now received a call on my personal cell from the boss. I believe I once gave it to him for a on-site job at his house back when I was just getting started. He thanked me for my directness and not actually trying to fight the claims of Karen over the phone. As outgoing phone calls are recorded from my client's side, the recording was able to be used as evidence in support of her termination. So she has no chance of trying to fight it and couldn't argue outside pressure caused her to get fired, as that is illegal in my country. I told him that I was happy to take care of all their business needs and hung up, feeling satisfied with my work for today. Update 2. So all this was posted yesterday on another sub. The events of the story happened yesterday. Today I spoke with some of the other office people from my client company regarding the aftermath of their hacked mailbox. The boss of the company asked me to send an email to his entire company to explain the situation and what happened. Apparently I explained it so clearly to him, he wanted me to address his staff in the same manner. I wrote up an email explaining in layman's terms what happened and that it was totally preventable and include tips for good passwords. I also told them that a password manager is being rolled out and that usage of this is mandatory, that all questions about the password manager should go to us directly as we are responsible for supporting the rollout, even though it is not our product. In response to this email, me and my colleagues got several calls about what happened. They have a lot of work from home and on the road employees, so there is a lot of office gossip that is delayed. Most of them specifically asked what happened to Karen, as she sent a company-wide email 2 weeks earlier introducing herself and telling everyone about her responsibilities and duties. I'm important. I'm basically your new boss. Do as I say or get fired. I didn't go into too much detail, but I told them all how Karen acted, and I might have accidentally mentioned something about a Reddit post for the full story to a friend who works for the company. Hoopsie.